Hi everyone, this is Men's here. I'm gonna be streaming World of Tanks for at least an hour tonight. Sorry if I started a little late tonight. Something came up and I couldn't stream at the time I thought I would. I'm gonna be streaming till about at least 1:30 tonight, if not 2 a.m. And then tomorrow night I'm gonna be streaming some World of Warships as well. Most likely 10 p.m. to midnight. I'm going to start the night out with the FV201 A45, which this is actually my first a match in this thing, the Tier 7 British heavy tank. Now, essentially its gun is very similar to the Tier 6 heavy tank, the TOG 2 asterisk. However, bit worse in the accuracy department. But basically, being at tier higher at tier 7, it's a pretty crappy gun for a heavy tank. It doesn't have very high alpha, and its penetration isn't exactly good either unless you're using the premium rounds. Alright, this tank though, whole armor, not exactly its strong suit. You don't really want to rely upon it at all, which it's a bit concerning that most of our team is heading that way. Alright, I want to push up a little bit here, but actually not too far, because without too much help I'm gonna fall prey to the enemy team if they push hard, which usually people do push pretty hard on encounter mode on the hill. Now your turret armors fairly well, however there is a very large weak spot, basically right above the mantlet. That entire section's pretty thick, or I was about to say pretty thick, but it's pretty thin, and it's not angled enough to really deflect things. So you gotta be careful there, because if people know that weak spot, they're gonna exploit it pretty regularly. But your gun depression is fairly well, so you can hide your hole fairly easily in this. But at the same time, coming across something like a T-29, he definitely has the advantage with the armor and his basically firepower compared to yours. Like, I'm not really going to be able to penetrate him if he doesn't make any mistakes here. I've gotta be careful here, because, okay, thanks for moving behind me. But I'm hoping that we can buy enough time here. Shit. I'm burning through a lot of money right here. But just trying to do my best to weaken the enemy, because they're just gonna most likely plow my throats here. Alright, sorry dude, I didn't mean to nudge you. I'm actually gonna wanna, not say run away, but run away. Down. Come on, people. We gotta... Okay, now I'm actually doing pretty bad here. I should be able to get a little bit of help from my team over this way. But at the same time, if I run away, I'm screwed. If I stay up here, I have a feeling I'm a little less screwed here, so I'd rather push ahead a little bit here. Which this thing does suffer from module damage, and unfortunately I'm gonna end up dying here. Not exactly the best way to start a match out, but or start a stream out. Shit. No! You can do it. At least I got one more kill off. Hopefully that helps my team out, but I really don't understand what these guys are doing down here. Like, you're no use until basically half of your team dies, but regardless, let's move on. Essentially, this tank, it's okay when it's the top tier, but if you're facing a lot of 8s, it is difficult. But basically anything higher than tier 7 that you face, it's really a stretch to make that gun work. It's doable, but you're gonna have to spend a lot of money on the premium rounds to get that penetration up. Really, it's just an okay tank, because basically you're a heavy tank without really any armor. Like, the gun depression and turret armor is good, but since you have a huge weak spot above the gun mantlet, it basically defeats the purpose, since a lot of people who basically know tanks can basically shoot there and penetrate you every single time. I think the effective armor is like 115 millimeters, about there, and it's only like 54 millimeters thick. Alright, now, so hopping into the T110E3, a little bit different here. Definitely on the other end of the spectrum as far as armor and firepower goes. So, I'm just taking a look at the enemy team here. They do have quite a bit of mediums, and they do have that accurate bat chat already. So most likely they're going to have a pretty heavy presence over here. I'm going to see where my team goes first, though. I would prefer to fight on this side. However, not a lot of people head on over to the other side. I will head over there. I just want to kind of see where my team ends up before I commit anywhere. Which, surprisingly, it looks like most people are heading over that way, so actually, never mind. We have a pretty good force heading over there, so I might as well stick towards the center of the map and do my best to help out over here. So really, I'd be better off basically pushing up here pretty aggressively and using my armor. However, I have a feeling that, even though this T-57 is pulling back now, I have a feeling that these guys should overmatch those guys, but you never know. Like, things never turn out the way you think they will in World of Tanks, so that's what keeps it interesting. Alright, no enemies seem to... Even as AMX-50B's hanging back a bit. Alright, so far not so good for us. I do have a shot on this guy if he stays back there, but yeah, I'm not gonna count on being able to damage him. I'd rather focus on pushing this side. Holy shit, that shot went pretty damn far. Crap. I have to be careful. Yeah. Alright. I was about to say, I was fairly sure I had 6th Sense on this, but I guess I don't. That's at least something small hit me. Now, they do have a pretty nasty group of mediums, and this 121, he is very lucky I was not paying attention there. I am out of position here. I want to be further down behind this rock a little bit to give me a little bit of cover, but see if I can get a shot off here. Not a lot of damage there, but at least we got him out. on, guys. I need someone to kind of protect my butt here. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to pull down just a hair bit more so they can't peek over that hill as much. But we're getting flanked from every which way. This guy needs to pull down the frickin' hill or else I can't really help him. Your armor in the E3 gets a lot better further you are from your target. But unfortunately, my team's kind of disintegrating. Not that I really have done much, but yeah, this is another shitty game for me. But at the end of the day, you can't exactly expect to do good in most of them, but unfortunately, that was actually a good way to start the night out here. Yeah, we lost Malinowka. I don't get why people don't focus on the hill. It's pretty no-brainer to focus on it and encounter. But I'll top over to the E5. See if I can switch my luck here a little bit. I'd like to at least win. Basically, I play to win matches. Like, I don't care how well I do, as long as if I'm trying to win, I'm happy. And these first two felt pretty depressing to say. It's like I didn't do good at all in that E3 game. I messed up quite a few times, but at the same time, our team, when you lose on two flanks and you're behind on both flanks, it's kind of hard to make a comeback. Not that it's impossible, but very difficult. You really need at least one flank to either hold its own or do a little bit better in the enemy. But unfortunately, in that case, both of our flanks were on the basically downside there, and we just got overwhelmed in the end.
Let's go.
I'm gonna head north here. I don't particularly like to focus in the south. I have created a map strategy for Swamp. It's my most recent post in Wakuru.com, and hopefully I'm gonna have some more articles up this week coming up. Now, usually I would say tank destroyers and heavy tanks should focus down here, which is where the most of our force is heading. However, in an E5 you still can make the zero line work out as long as you don't get stuck in between here and get swarmed by mediums and hit by SPGs. But I'm going to try to sneak on by here. Which, if there's any tanks anybody wants me to play, mention them in chat. I'll do my best to get to them. I'll be streaming for about, I would say, 45 minutes more tonight. It's a little bit late here for me. It's basically 1 a.m. Alright, so yeah, this C50M is definitely going to need my help here. Looks like he got nailed by both of those AMXs, which they're platoon, so... Oh, thank you very much, E50M, for running away. It's like... Thanks a lot, dude. It's like we were fine and dandy up here together, but now splitting between two different flanks is putting at a little bit of a disadvantage. I was intentionally showing my side there for him, and I cut it a little bit close there. He probably could have damaged me if I wasn't right on it, but I was hoping that he'd hit my track there when I swung my armor back. Typically in the E5, since a lot of people know that your sides are weak, if you over angle a little bit, you can get them to aim at your side armor, and then you can swing your frontal armor back in front of that, and you won't take any damage. Alright, it looked like Artie was focusing on him. So, we'll see if we get another shot. But we're losing quite a bit of tanks in the south here. So I'm gonna give our Artie one more shot here. Alright, so he shot at me. M103 shot at me here. I've gotta make a little bit of a play here. Fortunately, this E50M came along for the ride. So I'd say he's gonna ram him. Good job there. But yeah, we've definitely got to do something. This M103 full HP. However, I'd rather try to help our ST1 here, and he's definitely gonna need it. We need to get this guy out from behind him. Thank God for a little bit of a high roll there. Now we kind of swung the match a little bit back, not into our favor, but at least... Okay, so those little buggers can see me, and I can now see them. There we go. Thank you. M103, thank you for... I don't know why he's mad. He had to have known that he was basically driving right in the middle of the frickin' field. Okay, so I'm gonna swoop in here. We can see the gun carrier now. I'd rather not take any damage from this. Okay. Thank you very much, M103. I'm gonna try to pop over here, see if we can get this ST1. There we go. That was very nice. But I've got to hop back to base. Hopefully that E50M can do something up there. But if I don't head back to base, we're going to lose both SPGs, or all three SPGs actually, without getting anything off. And definitely our Centurion, but just trying to do the best I can here to salvage something. Would have been freaking awesome had I hit that IS-7, but no dice. Thank you, M40. And let this T-10 move out. Not too much that I can do against him, except for hope that we can hit him, but I wanna... Okay, never mind. I got frickin' nailed by artillery, but that was kind of my fault. I was driving in a straight line. Nice shot for him, but at the same time, it really sucks when that happens. But tried to do my best here. At least I got quite a bit of damage off. 4 kills, but in the end of the day, still a loss. I probably should have pushed in the north a little bit sooner, because I did wait a little bit too long, and we lost a ton of people before I actually started pushing and trying to help save people. Alright, so why don't we hop into a different nation here. Switch things up a little bit. Why don't we hop into the WZ-120, which... don't know why I'm playing this right now because the lack of gun depression is very evident in this tank and does make it very hard to actually play. Now, it's doable on a lot of maps. However, basically any updated map or newer map is pretty hard to play, like this one, because every little bump you're not going to be able to actually push over and be able to fire on the enemy, since you have, I think it's like 3.5 degrees of gun depression, or even 3. So basically non-existent. It's like basically 5 and 6 degrees of gun depression you can work with, but once you get below that, it's pretty difficult. Now, I'm gonna go to typical medium route here and push over on this side, only because I know from experience that I cannot really fight effectively 1 to 5 line. Now the gun on this is big enough to where I could kind of go into the center here and try to mess up people from a flank. However, I think I'm a little bit more useful trying to help out my team in the beginning here on the hill and see how that goes. Granted, I got a little bit of a slow start here, and my team's not exactly pushing too hard here. Fortunately, though, we do have the advantage of nailing that guy. I'm taking a bit of a risk here, pushing here, but fortunately I was able to get there. Oh shit. Alright. So I need to play this carefully. Alright, so that guy's kind of moving. Now, as long as he's not pushing on me, I should be okay. He's looks like he's gonna try to take another whack at me. Which I have the higher alpha strike here, so not that I'm in the clear, but he's gonna try to sneak a little bit of damage. If I can get a nice shot off, I would like to take it, but alright, so the object 430 moved away. Just get him one-shottable for my team there. So they're gonna swoop in. This guy, I don't think he's gonna run away. He's gonna try to stay up near me, I believe, but never mind, he is gonna. Kind of surprised he's going this route. Not that he's gonna survive, but he would have been smarter to stay up on top, force us up there, since artillery can hit us up there a little bit easier. But fortunately, nice hit there. I did not expect to hit him. Fortunately, our team worked together pretty well there, and really with a tank like this with lack of gun depression, you really have to pick and choose your fights. And yes, you're going to take damage a lot of the times when you have to pop out and take damage to do damage, but I was just waiting to make sure it made sense for me to do a little bit of damage while taking some, not just popping out to take a little bit off that object, but basically not helping my team out by making the T-30 one-shottable for them. Alright, I'm most likely gonna get popped by artillery, knowing me and my luck. He's most likely right there. And that was, I was expecting that, but I took my chances. I could have done what this 113 is doing, but I tried. But hell, at least we had a pretty good win here, and it definitely wasn't close, but I'll take a win after the first few matches I've had tonight. Yeah, we definitely lost Swamp. Overall, not a bad game. 2,200 damage. Deflected a little, spotted a little. Match back here. Oh crap. Like, okay. I was about to say, I'm pretty sure I got them way before these matches, but I guess it came up again. But this match in Team 110E5, pretty decent. 4,100 damage. Blocked a little bit, but at least I made a little bit of a profit. But definitely could have played that a little bit differently. Alright, so let's see. What do I want to play now? I could play the... Yeah, I could play the Type 59 here. Alright. Let's get this going. Now, a lot of people have talked about Type 59 since Armored Warfare gave one away for free, or is still giving one away for free. Really, I don't really get why they're jabbing at World of Tanks by giving one away, since it's completely different in Armored Warfare. But Type 59 is also being sold in World of Tanks Blitz, which, if you haven't seen, it's the mobile World of Tanks game, but you also can play it on Windows 10 now. You're not in the same matches as mobile players, but it's a little bit different game as far as balance wise, and the maps are completely different as well. But it's being sold there. Personally, I see why they don't introduce it or reintroduce it into the game, because even though it's not overpowered right now, compared to when it was released, which it was only overpowered when it was released because a lot of the times it faced tier 5 and tier 6 mediums and even heavies, tank destroyers that couldn't damage it. And ever since matchmaking changed since then, you don't really encounter that anymore unless people intentionally gimp themselves by platooning with a higher tier. But that's where Type 59's really got their reputation. Not reputation, reputation. I guess I'm a little bit tired since I've been up since about 6 a.m. But I could see where they don't want to sell it, because if people buy it and see that it's not exactly an overpowered premium tank, they might be a little angry. Alright, so I gave it a shot. Type 62 RU-251. Not too concerned about them, so I will push on these guys. Shit, that was a pretty bad miss for me. Nice if I could track him, or at least stop him from running away. Alright, so I hit that little rock that I knew was there. I'm really making some stupid mistakes tonight. I'm definitely gonna catch up on some sleep tonight. I'm hoping that by next week I'll be back to normal. Just being away and having to do quite a few things have screwed up my sleep schedule a little bit. Alright, so we got this IS-2 here. I'm not too concerned about him just yet. We should be able to scoop by him, and he shouldn't pose too many issues for the guys behind me. I'm just wanting to push up a little bit further here. This ISU is definitely a concern for me. Okay, so I should be able to just push right into him. I know his gun isn't as good as a regular ISU I normally face, so I have a little bit more leeway against him. Definitely want to get this light tank out, if possible. Ram him a little bit. Don't want to take any stupid damage from him. But alright, thank you very much. We got this other IS-3 here. Where are you going? Alright, never mind. I was about to say I was gonna try to kill him, but he ran away a little bit too far from me. I'm just pushing up to kind of move the flank up a little bit for my team here. They do have artillery, which I'm curious to see where it's at. There is a very good chance it's actually up here, but I have a feeling it's a little bit to my right. So I probably should have took that other road, but I had a feeling that the VK and the IS-6 was going to pose a little bit of problems for me if I pushed out there. Give their SPGs credit. Either they hid very well in the south, or they really booked it. Got no idea where these guys are. Alright. Their SPGs definitely ran away. And I've really just freaking missed them. Alright, so he's just waiting for me there. Alright, never mind. I forgot all about you, dude. I will not forget about you now, though. We don't have this in the bag, so need to be careful here. I've got SPG behind me. Kinda hate using a premium round here, but hopefully that helps my... Okay, maybe it doesn't help him. I was trying to help my little buddy here, but in the end, helped us out. I know that FV's over there. Still have to worry about... Oh shit. Let's see. Still have to worry about this VK. I thought he was gonna pop me. I guess I got a little lucky there. Alright, so I really hope that... Okay, thank God. Let's see, we'd be in a little bit of trouble if... But... Taking a little bit of a risk pushing here. But we know where he's heading. We're all basically one-shottable. But if we time this right, we should be okay. Really hope that this VK can hit him now. We do need somebody to spot him now. Alright, I had a feeling he wasn't heading for me anymore. There we go. It's kept with APCR. Hello, Ra. Yeah. I kind of get the joke. Yeah, I'm trying to stream to break into the Russian time zone crowd. Surprisingly, I did the most amount of damage, a little under 2,000. 3 kills. Pretty good amount of credits in the end there. So, a little bit better than I thought, and came out with a win. But yeah, a little bit late for me to stream, but this was the only time I was able to stream today, unfortunately. And tomorrow night's going to be a bit late too, but I'm hoping after Christmas I'm going to be back to normal and get up and running as far as articles go. I will say that I am working on another giveaway on my websites, Watt Guru and also Men's Gaming, for Christmas and the holidays. Most likely it's going to be for subscribers, which if anyone here isn't a subscriber, it's pretty easy to do on my websites. It's in the menu drop down, subscribe. You don't have to subscribe to any articles if you don't want to, but essentially you're going to be subscribers. They're going to be picked through randomly, and some prizes are going to be given out for both Wakuru and mensgaming.com. Mensgaming.com, you can subscribe under World of Warships, but not the actual Men's Gaming URL at this point. But hopefully I'm going to have that kind of finalized either tomorrow or on Monday. Just need to make sure I have all the little kinks worked out and that I can still gift to all the servers that I plan on offering it to. But it looks like I have about 30 minutes left here. I'm going to try to finish as many battles as I can tonight. And then tomorrow night, most likely it's going to be 10 p.m. to midnight. Might start a little bit later there, since I am going to be out of town for a lot of the day. But I will be playing World of Warships tomorrow night, unless something goes awry. But last time I tried to stream World of Warships, decided not to really work out too well for some reason. My stream kept cutting in and out, and even though I never found any problems on my end, it was a little strange there. Alright, so we got these little FV304s behind me, so let's see if I can give them something to shoot here. That was definitely a bad shot there, but I wanted to try to get something off quick without too much risk. So gotta beware of this KV2 coming up here. But yeah, I don't have time before he has a very nicely placed shot on me. So let's see if I can pre-aim here. That Tiger P's really, he's kind of pushing it a little bit. But unfortunately, I didn't have a shot there since he was out. Alright. I should have a shot right here. Whew, and of course I missed. Are you kidding me? My luck is not very good tonight. At least we're doing good though. So it's not all bad. So hopefully I reload. Come on, reload. Nope. Of course I can't get that lucky. I probably should have backed up since it was cutting a little bit close to reload there, but I was kind of hoping I'd get a little bit lucky there. Of course I don't. I hit the end of his gun. Basically, if you do no damage with HE in this, and you actually hit them, more likely than not you hit their gun, and I pretty much hit that gun dead on. don't really have much view range on this thing, so I might be spotted. I'm hoping I can kind of take this guy by surprise here, since he's expecting me down low. But it could backfire on me. I could be spotted here. Okay, now, since this is not going very well here. Oh god. Oh god. Whew. I got a little lucky there. I'm trying to close the gap a little bit so I have no possible way to miss. Alright now. They both fired. So I should have a shot here. Alrighty, I did not miss that one, thank God. If I had missed that, I probably... I don't know what I would have did, but it wouldn't have been pretty. Okay, Mr. Lorraine, are you gonna shoot at me? I have a feeling that you're gonna shoot at me here. Okay, I didn't kill him. I thought I was gonna kill him, but I guess I was just a little bit too late there. But we gotta win, so I'm happy. Thank you, VK 3002M. You seem to do a pretty damn good job. 6 kills there. But yeah, not exactly a great game for me. At least I made a little bit of profit. I did a whopping 50 damage there. Woohoo. And I destroyed 1 tank. So, go me. Let's see. Let's hop into the Centurion. Still grinding out a bit of experience on this before I rack up enough credits to get the Centurion Action X. Not that the Centurion Action X is the best tier 10 medium tank, but it's a pretty damn good tank in my opinion. Really, it's just lacking in size-wise for a medium. It is still a little bit big since it is a Centurion tank. If there's any specific tanks anyone wants to play, mention them. I'll try to fit them in. I probably have, I would say, probably 2 more battles left in me tonight before I head off to bed.
Let's get this show on the road.
As far as my plans go for my schedule coming up after Christmas, I plan on streaming most likely 2 nights a week. One for World of Tanks, one for World of Warships. Most likely they're going to be 3 hours long a piece. And then after that I'll be releasing between 2 to 4 videos, standard videos, for the rest of the week for specific tanks or topics, like I used to. I feel like that'll be a pretty nice balance since I really enjoy doing specific videos while not live streaming, since I can cover something that I feel is important or a tank that I'd like to review. Alright, so they definitely got the jump on us there. It's going to be a little bit hard to crack the south here now since we did get a slow start. However, there is no artillery, so I hopefully can play a thank you T-54 for not popping me there. I was a little concerned. I have a feeling that no one sees me here, so I should be able to get a shot off on this. Not really. I was kind of hoping to get a little lucky shot on him, but his turret was pointing right at me. Oh, shit, he's still pushing. He's really gonna regret that. Although he got a little lucky 0 damage critical hit there, but he's gonna be, yeah, he's gone. Hopefully we can fend off a T-34 and T-54E1 there. Don't worry about this IS-4. She gets fired. Please don't shoot me. Please don't. Oh shit. I hate when I do that. Use this little hill here to hopefully protect me. And a little bit of cheap damage in there. I'm trying to sneak around here so I can get a couple shots in the side of this IS-4. Since our IS-4 is a little bit low on HP. A lot low on HP now, but I'd rather go from the side here with this WZ and kind of do a 1-2 punch on him.
We didn't penetrate their armor.
Let's say he's not going to be able to go.
We didn't penetrate their armor. We've lost a track. We're stuck here.
Probably should have aimed for the little cheeky part on him, but I was hoping that my APCR would have enough to kind of punch through that lower glacis, but it was really borderline with how well he was angled. Holy shit. They do have a T-34 and IS-7 in the base. Thank you, IS-7. I will bounce off of you, obviously. Please don't be like a damage activated bot.
Enemy armor is hit.
Hello, Mr. Bulldog.
Enemy armor is damaged.
Probably should have nailed him with Hesh, but a little too late for that.
Enemy vehicle destroyed.
Alright, he's a goner, and we got a pretty easy win here. Looks like the only wins I'm gonna get tonight are pretty lopsided ones. But still, decent match, nothing spectacular. 1600 damage, blocked a little bit, spotted a little bit. Alright, so why don't we play a lower tier here? Why don't we bring out the T28E? After that, I'm probably gonna play the T92 or the M53 unless somebody else has a suggestion. And then that might end the stream. We'll see time-wise. Good old Mount Ofka, though. We'll see if we get any quick spots off so I can do a little bit of damage, but otherwise I'm gonna push up this way, potentially this way. We'll see how many people we have heading towards the hill. I have a very big profile and a big gun on this, so I don't want to push out there, take a ton of damage for being the only tank up there. Okay, looks like we might have a couple guys heading over there, but nothing. If we had a scout pushing out here real quick, I would have stuck around a little bit more, but even though they are going to spot some people down here, it's too iffy for me to really wait as long as I'd have to. But as of right now, it doesn't look like they've encountered many enemies, so that's making me less likely to push up the hill. I'd rather hang around here if they don't really encounter too many foes down there. Dude, this tank destroyer way off in the distance. He's a goner. This tank's very good if you can mitigate the damage that you take. Basically, try to be not a sniper, but basically just not a frontline tank, and you should do pretty well on this. That guy just took damage, so he's gonna pull back, and I'm gonna nail him. People are pretty predictable. Not always, but usually if someone's full HP and a bunch of enemies are coming towards them, once they take their first hit, they're gonna back straight up. And that's when you wanna pounce on them. Now we're gonna encounter some people up here in about 30 seconds, I would say. I'm gonna wanna swap over to HE since a lot of them are lightly armored that are gonna be up here. Although it looks like a lot of them probably headed back to base. But HE can really wreck things in this thing when you're facing off against light tanks. Let's see if this Stewart stayed put. Put this M2 medium here. We'll see. Yep, I definitely did not hit the M2 medium. There, I hit a house. Let's see what we can do here. He's a goner. Let's see about this M5 Stewart. Nope, he's goner. Yeah, pretty easy win here again. The enemy, I guess they didn't really value protecting their base at all, so it looks like they left open that entire side. Alright, so that's a miss. No question about that one. But this tank, even though it's a premium tank, it does have its disadvantages, but really, as long as you aren't on a team that loses half of its tanks in the first minute or two, and you play aggressively but a little bit conservatively, you'll do pretty well on this and always get the damage that you need. I don't have a very good shot here. I just wanted to push up a little bit to spot this guy. But decent match here. Top damage in the match, the match. Pretty good amount of credits for the time involved. It definitely makes a lot of credits. Not a ton per match compared to, say, a tier 8 premium. But since the matches are so short, you can rack up a lot of credits in that thing very quickly. Gotta play an SPG, so let's hop into the M53 here. Depending on how long this takes, this might be my last match, but if it's towards the shorter end, I'll hop into something else. Alright, so Sand River Encounter. Or not encounter, assault. And we're attacking. Okay. Hopefully we get a little bit of people over here to prevent them from punching through and spotting me. I'm going to start out with HE and then see if I can swap over to AP since this isn't exactly a large map. My accuracy will allow me to use AP semi-effectively. I'm going to prefer to push into this little gully here. I find you're a little safer here than if you were to stay further back, but not always the case. But I found it's worked out pretty well for me so far. So I'm gonna kind of swing this way to begin with, since we have this RU 251 over here. Okay, he ran into a little bit of resistance here. So gonna switch course here, since if he's not spotting anybody over there, that means they're not going to be seen until these guys get over. But these guys should see somebody over here. At least I hope. That's usually how the map works, not always, but we'll see. I definitely don't want to try to hit a light tank in this thing. I'd rather save it for a heavy, but at this point, I really don't know what the enemy's thinking, because usually there's a pretty good amount of people that you spot in these couple areas down here. But I'll be really pissed off if I'm killed by a light tank that they let through. But we shall see. All right. Whew, thank God. Ooh, I'm glad I stopped and turned. Artillery was definitely waiting for me too. I should have a shot on this T-34 back here. Not a lot of HP, but if I can get him out, be one less gun pointing at my friends. Friends for this battle, at least. We'll see what happens when this T-34 pops out again. Should have a pretty good hit there. But nope, I completely whiffed. So let's try something a little bit closer here with this WZ-111. I'm going to swap over to AP2 after this. I have played that artillery, the Bat Chat Tier 10 one. I don't hate it. I hate playing against it. I don't own it on my regular account, but I did play it when I had a media account, and I think it's a pretty damn good artillery. It's accurate, and it does take hitting shots repeatedly to do your damage, but at the same time, it's not hard to do damage in the thing, and I freaking hate playing against them because they're very accurate and annoying to play against, since not that you're guaranteed to take damage against them, but if one's aiming at you, it's very difficult to push out of cover because you don't have that buffer against it that you do against other artillery, since it has a drum. Yeah, take a little bit of a risk here, but we're ahead, so I might as well have a little bit of fun. This isn't really going to help me out statistically, but I'd rather try to have a little bit of fun here. Alright, so definitely didn't help that he didn't spot it. Would have been nice. Come on. There we go. AP's pretty fun to play. Granted, he was low HP, but if you can hit somebody with AP, you're gonna do a hell of a lot more damage than you will with HE. Because most of the time you penetrate, not always, but I find the AP is pretty fun with this tank. Granted, I kind of wish I had HE to hit this M40, but I kind of got myself stuck here with AP now. Waiting for them to spot somebody, but I hope it's not too long or else that AMX is going to move a little bit. But I guess I'm going to pop over here for this M4. Which, yep, that doesn't work for me. Now I'm a little bit too close. Okay, I did not want to turn that much. What the hell? I'm not, yeah. I thought about, I should have just drove up and tried to shotgun somebody again, but we'll see what my team spots here. Hopefully they're still back in this little cubby hole. Okay. I would like the heavy tank, but we'll see if the heavy tank's still back here. Honestly, it looks like he... Okay, never mind. I'm like, it looks like the heavy tank might have ran away with the Type 64. Yeah, that completely missed. Oh no, Type 64 can see me. Uh-oh. Shit. I was expecting the Type 64 to advance, but he just sat there, of course. Oh well. So, this was a pretty shitty game. I'm not gonna end on this. I'll play one more. And why don't we get a match in the IS-7. Still haven't finished this guy. How many battles does he need? Holy shit. It's a pretty big amount of experience. Didn't think that the IS-7 crew I had was that lopsided, but oh well. Guess I played a little bit too many games in the IS-6 with it. But this will definitely be my last battle of the night, since it's approaching 2 a.m. here. Usually I'm waking up at 3 or 4 a.m. for work, so it's a little bit different for me. Alright, so swamp again, a little bit different. Being on this side, hopefully, there is 2 artillery I'm playing against. I'm hopefully going to make it up here. I would like to get over in this area and prevent the enemy from pushing up here. If we can do that as a team, we'll be on the offensive. If you let the enemy get up in this area or kind of around this corner, then you're kind of on the defensive. But this side usually has a little bit better chance at winning the south than the north side, since the north side can play a little bit better in the north and win that easier. But then again, you just never know. It's like the IS-7 here isn't exactly the best at getting to places uphill or places you need to turn at better than, say, on another team they have the AMX-50B, the E5. They're 2 mediums. They're probably going to beat me there if they choose so. But I will be streaming again tomorrow night. Again, this is gonna probably be my last battle, since you can probably hear I'm a little bit tired right now. But I will be playing World of Warships. Planning on 10 p.m. to midnight. Might be a little bit later, 10:30 p.m. Depends on when I get home tomorrow. Oh shit. I'm glad I bounced whatever shot me. Alright, just stay right there. Great, I bounced off you, but... Tanks I'm facing. I'm gonna a little bit of APCR. Guy got a little bit lucky there with his HP. Thank you, T92. Nothing a little bit of APCR can't fix though. Alright, so hopefully time to crack this open here. We'll see though, since they have that Panzer E100. I'm just gonna kind of YOLO. That didn't work. And he's one who finished me off. Had I not been tracked, that would have worked out a lot better, but okay, and the T-62 ran away. Alright, so that plan did not work. I will pop into another battle since I completely messed that up. Okay, at least we won that. That definitely went different in my head there, but not everyone is always on the same page. I was planning on pushing down there, and when I did that, I was hoping the 3 guys behind me, if not 4 of them, were going to pop out to at least kill the ST-1 and damage that E5. However, I ended up getting tracked and we didn't exactly destroy any of them, so fail. Alright, so this map, pretty sure this was in the rampage mode, which honestly the whole rigging and everything is a little bit depressing to see that people spent so much effort into rigging just to get one tank. Whatever. But I actually really like the rampage mode, to be honest. I wish that they would buff the credits so you would make more credits in it than say a standard battle so more people would play it. However, I think it's a pretty fun mode, and the missions, I don't even think they need missions to get people to play it for a tank. I think just giving more experience and credits would work, but I don't see why a lot of people hate on it since it's a pretty fun game mode. Alright, so that didn't work. I was hoping I'd shoot through that and go in with a blaze of glory, and that did not work out. Alright, is this 180? Okay, he's not going to shoot. Ooh, Nelly. Run away. Oh crap, he shot AP at me. Thank you, Jesus. Alright. I guess you can just pull right up there. Hoping to get by here before that 183 reloads. Let's see how that works out though. Yeah, that hurt a little bit. P75 has good armor, but I find playing against them in my 183, they're surprisingly easy to damage. They just don't have a lot of spaced armor on them to protect them against a 183. So he probably swapped over to Hesh there. Alright, so that ST1 should be good there. Do have to worry about SPGs. Did not expect that guy to push when he did. I do have this waffle tracker, but I'm hoping that we can take him out. And then we're, not that we're behind, but we have a clear victory if we take him out. Our base is a bit open, but at the same time, we should be okay. Pretty keyword on the should. Not gonna say it's concrete or anything. S7, you probably couldn't be in a worse spot right now for me. Alright, so they took those guys out. I'm just heading straight to the cap. This is definitely my last match for tonight, though. Not that it's a great one, but I will see hopefully some of you guys tomorrow night for World of Warships. And like I said earlier in the stream, after Christmas I'm gonna have a more set schedule based off of the Eastern Standard Time Zone for streaming. And there will be a contest on WattGuru.com and mensgaming.com coming up in the next day or two for a holiday giveaway like I do every year. Most likely some gold prizes and doubloon prizes for World of Warships up for grabs for just being a subscriber to the website. Okay, he got a little bit of cheap damage in there. But anyway, thanks for watching the stream, and hopefully you got a couple laughs out of my mistakes tonight, since I'm a little sleep deprived right now. But still a few nice sprinkles of play there. Oh, I actually hit him. Wasn't expecting to hit him, but I'll take it. I would have took a little bit of damage, but I'll take tracking him over missing him. But a little bit of a decent match here. At least we made a little bit of credits. So anyway, thanks again for watching tonight, even though the stream was a little late. And see you guys around, hopefully a little bit earlier next time. Anyway, thanks again. See ya.